Welcome to JRL Studio Creations. Today I wanted to show you how I made this. This is an amazing magic feather wand. Woo! So exciting! I've always wanted to make a really cool wand, so I decided to take apart a toothbrush. I think it'll make a really good handle. Also, this one already had a battery in it. I didn't want to damage anything with this toothbrush, so I wrapped some tape around the battery and then pulled it out with a pair of pliers. Luckily it worked. Inside I found this. There's a wire on the back, and underneath the switch, there's another wire. Boop, boop. Definitely gonna save this one for later. Time to saw the handle. Isn't this a great life hack? Let's use this straw to make the long thin part. I had these connectors and I thought that they might work pretty good for actually making it so I could click them together and click it apart and still have the power get to the end of the straw. So I glued them together with some super glue and it turned out pretty good. The only thing was I still needed to put this straw somehow in it, so I decided to drill it out. When I was drilling it out, I had to remove the upper prongs, but it still turned out pretty good. Then I just heated up the end of the straw and fitted it into the hole that I had made. There's a couple extra spaces in between where the prongs used to be that I had to take out, but I just filled them in with these skewers. You know that thing I was saving earlier for later? Well, time to get back to it. It's time to solder. It was actually fairly simple to put on new wiring, and then I just took out the old motor. I had to reassemble the switch again, but that wasn't a problem. The one thing that I was kind of surprised about though, is when I actually tried to put an LED on the end of this, it didn't light up, which really surprised me because I thought it would just easily light up. So I had to actually take apart a little teeny flashlight, and then this is the components from it. So I took those components out of the flashlight and soldered them onto the end of the connector. Then I took the wires that were coming out of the toothbrush and soldered them onto the components of the little flashlight. I took some LEDs that were very, very tiny and flat and soldered them onto the other part of the connector. This part was really stressful, but when I pressed the button and it all worked, whew, I was happy. Then I took the wires and wrapped them around the end of the straw and used super glue to hold the wires and the LED in place. For the electronics, I also put a little bit of liquid tape on top of them so that they would be safe from actually the next steps I was about to do. I used super glue mixed in with baking soda to actually hold everything in place. Also, I found out that I could use some cornstarch mixed in with weld to make more of a paste that I could sculpt onto the wand. It turned out like this. I could turn it on, off, and I could also detach it so I could load up a feather. But I realized that this didn't actually look like a wand, so I wanted to make it look like wood. I used modpoge with some paper and a wood finish stain marker. I would draw on the paper first, put on some glue, and then wrap it around the wand, and it worked really good. And this is how it turned out. So now I had a wand, I just needed a feather. I found out that ostrich feathers works really good for this, white ostrich feather, and I used some thread that was pretty thin, but it still could be seen. It's not magic thread, but it worked for what I was doing. I tied it in a knot with a bead on it and super glued it to the end of the feather. To load up that feather into the end of the straw, I used a skewer and just fed the string through the straw and then pulled the skewer out and then pulled the thread up through the straw. This thing is ready to go, but the first thing I wanted to show you is this, the end of it, what it looks like. Now, we're ready to try this thing out. This thing would blow my mind each time I did it, so I had to do it many, many times. It's just so cool. It definitely took some getting used to, but it was really fun. And that's how I made this magical feather wand. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are amazing. Have a great day. Bye.